Navigate back to applications, please, because it's at this point where we're going to create our own application in order to scan it for vulnerabilities. So let's select new application, and we need to give it a name. Flights app is very appropriate in my humble opinion. And we need to provide the base URL. The base URL is accessible from our Postman already. And you need to copy everything up and including API v1. That's your base URL. You have a set of advanced options. Which test do you want to run? By default, you're using the no-name test, like I mentioned earlier on, but there's a pull-down list, and you can go and search and select the one you're interested in. No-name test is the one we're going to be using. We'll only have a single worker, so that default worker, so that's exactly what we have. If your APIs are accessible through a proxy, you come in here, you specify the proxy. The concurrency by default is 100, right? 100 scans, 100 individual tests concurrently. And the scan timeout, it's 0. That means you don't time out at all. If you want to make sure you time out, specify the minutes that you expect to time out. I don't know, maybe there's a bug in your APIs, maybe there's a bug in active testing, right? And causes the scan to take overly an excessive amount of time, or it hangs, right? So you may want to add this timeout in order to ensure that you will finish your scan. You don't have to wait indefinitely for your scan to complete. Okay. The other thing I would like to mention is this is a wizard. There are 3 steps. General information, specify the sources, how you discover APIs, and finally the authentications. Okay, let's go to the sources. Select next. We're going to start with the users API. So type users API. Here's the different choices you have. Open API specification, which is exactly what we're going to use. Introspection is schema if you're dealing with GraphQL. RAML for RESTful APIs, and finally Postman collection for both RESTful APIs and GraphQL. Okay, these are your only choice currently. So I heard questions about SOAP. APIs currently they're not supported. If you're really interested in getting them supported, talk to your customer success reps. Okay, the TAMs, the CSMs, and so on. Okay, it's highly recommended you validate your Open API specification in Swagger Editor. Here's a link that's going to take you to the Swagger Editor. You can click it, or I like to use the next version of Swagger. Here you go. And I'm going to grab, not the flights, I'm going to grab the users. Here it is. So I'm going to grab them. Actually, we can do it with a file too. Let me see. Yeah, file. So we can do it from here. So import file. It's going to open your file explorer type of utility. In my case, it's under my home, under my temporary folder, files, and here it is. Users open API specification.yaml. Again, navigate under your student files wherever you unzip them, right? And locate the users open API specification.yaml, select open, and make sure you don't have errors, right? Make sure you don't have errors. The other nice thing about Swagger UI is that you get these presentation layer of your Open API specification, which is nice. Now, generally speaking, I do not like accessing tools that are online like this. Right? Chances are you may want to download. This is downloadable. It's a Node.js application. Right? Download it locally and use it locally if you so choose. Right? Okay. Cool. So back to our active testing. Oops. Here we are. Right? And I need to go and select the file. By the way, you have 3 ways. You can either specify a URL, a file, or raw. Raw is the ugliest thing ever because it gives you a text area and you can copy and paste the whole thing, which I do not like personally. I prefer the files. So I'm going to select file, upload a new file, back to the Explorer. In my case, it's already in the right location. Again, you need to navigate under your student files, select users open API specification.yaml, and click open. And now you need to select. Don't forget, you must select like this. The advanced options, whether you want to override the base URL from the source. Generally speaking, we already specify base URL. So I do not want to overwrite the base URL from the source in our case. But hey, if you have a better version inside the source, you probably want to, or you keep updating it at the source level, right? You probably want to check this box. In our case, I don't want to do it primarily. If I go back to the Swagger UI, I have localhost and I have some angle bracket AWS host, right? Which is not appropriate. By the way, if you're wondering which one of these will be used, it will be the first one, right? The first instance is the one that's going to be used because, of course, OpenAPI specification gives you the ability to specify multiple different servers. Yeah, so that's it at this level. Back to active testing, and we're going to click next. By the way, you have the ability to add additional sources. So if I wanted to, I could have added the Flights API from here, but I don't want to because I want to first work with the user's API. As soon as I'm done with the user's API, then we can see how you can add additional sources after the fact your application is created. And also it's simpler for us so we don't get overwhelmed with all the different information that active testing is going to provide us if we give additional sources, right? So the less we see as newbies, the easier it is. So we're going to click next, and we're going to bypass the authentication at this point in time, right? So you do have a secret manager, right, to securely store credentials that will be used for API authentication secrets and obfuscated across the system. And also they're centralized, right? So you don't have to go in every single one of your authentication and change something. You can come in the secret manager, change it in a centralized manner, and that change will be propagated. Okay. And here's your authentication. In our case, we're not going to do any of that. So we're going to hit this trash can and we're good to go. Complete. All right. So now we have our first application created. The only other thing I'm going to show you is that if I go back to applications, I'm going to see all the different applications at this level. Also under applications on the left hand side, I see the flight application. If you select it either on the left hand side menu or you select the application from the applications page, it's going to take you back to the original page. Okay. All right. For this section, we're done. Section end, my good people.